Here are 11 psychological facts about women that you should know if you want to become the lover they desire. 93% of men do not know these facts and are rejected when they try to conquer a woman. Watch this video because by knowing these facts about them, you will be part of the 7% of the most attractive men in the world. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like the video. You can help me continue spreading the Stoic philosophy. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell to avoid missing any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment with a number 1. If you don't, please comment with a number 2 to let me know so I can make better videos in the future. Psychological fact. Number 1. Women fall in love based on smell. A study found that if a woman likes a man's smell, her chances of falling in love with him increase by 85%. According to the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, women have 50% more neurons in the olfactory bulb than men, making them more sensory lovers. That is why, if you understand how to select the right fragrance, you will have a significant advantage in the game of seduction. Stay until the end of the video to find out which fragrances stimulate their senses the most. Psychological fact number 2. They are drawn to men who have their way. If you go too far with a woman at first, you will almost certainly face rejection. However, if you show respect and a little neediness for her, she will make herself available to you. Develop trust with her and feel free to touch her. It's always a matter of reading her body language and recognizing the signals or gestures she uses when she wants to be close to you. Psychological fact number 3. They feel something for you, but don't tell you. If a woman interests you, it's essential to avoid being her friend from the moment you meet her. According to a study, 68% of women admitted to considering having a love affair with a guy if they had known they could get their way. That's why I suggest you make it clear from the beginning, not directly, but by sub-communicating that you like her. If you want to know how, ask me in the comments. Psychological fact number 4. Women like womanizers. There's a phenomenon called pre-selection that reveals that women find men 3 times more attractive when they notice the interest of other women in them. This also happens when a man is surrounded by more women. So I suggest you get some female friends and start going out with them and observe how other women look at you. These friends don't necessarily have to interest you more than just for company and to create that pre-selection effect on you that will increase the interest of other women in you, making it easier for you to flirt with the woman you really like. The alpha. If you know how much you helped me by liking this video, you would do it right now. Did you already do it? Okay, let's continue. Psychological fact number 5. If she teases you, she's interested in you. If a woman teases you and gives you nicknames, it's very likely that she's attracted to you and uses this playful way to build trust with you. Because when it comes to falling in love, women don't know how to act other than through body language and this kind of playful teasing. I suggest you help her achieve her goal if you're really interested in her by showing interest in her as well. One strategy you can use to take advantage of her game is to play along with her by telling her what she wants to hear. You can say something like, "I know you call me that because you like me. Do you think I haven't noticed the way you..." Psychological fact number 6. Women love men who understand their language. Women appreciate it when you notice the signals they emit through their body language, consciously or unconsciously. As not all men know how to read these signals or the language they use most to fall in love, women tend to be more shy than men. They're afraid to express their love for you first. They detest rejection and therefore avoid it at all costs. The idea of a man rejecting them doesn't even cross their minds. That's why they use their body language to tell you how they feel. If a woman makes a gesture to intentionally make you fall in love, she expects you to play along. And if she sees that you don't catch what she's trying to tell you with the signal, she simply stays silent and forgets about it. If you're interested in learning about these signals in women's body language, ask me in the comments. The next piece of information is a very interesting strategy that you can use. Psychological fact number 7. Women are concerned about their appearance while engaging in intimate activities. Women are particular about the design and color of what they wear underneath their clothes, but they are most concerned with maintaining a good appearance when engaging in intimate activities. So instead of remaining silent, compliment her on how nice her lingerie looks. You'll notice that by boosting her ego in this way, she'll be more likely to wear a much prettier and more eye-catching outfit for you, which will serve as motivation for her to see you again. Psychological fact number 8. Women experience more sensations with a man who connects with them. When you understand the psychological complexity of the female mind, you can enhance her satisfaction when engaging in intimate activities. Because women are less physical than men and operate more with the mind and sensations. That's why I suggest you be less direct with women and be more subcommunicative. Strive to be a little more emotional so that you can easily connect with them. Take your time with her before doing anything together. Ask her questions that prompt her to express herself emotionally, and this will make her feel that you understand her very well. And believe me, she will fall much more in love with you. With the following piece of information, you must be very careful. Psychological fact number 9. Women love their friends more than their partners. Some women are capable of loving their best friend more than their boyfriend. It has been proven that women's friends have the ability to stimulate their emotions more. Because when a woman leaves her partner at home to meet with a friend, her mind enters a more sensitive state. As she heads to that encounter with her friend, she has no prejudice. She knows he won't judge her and will support her emotionally. With their friend, they receive an emotional satisfaction that makes them confuse this feeling with love. So it's better to prevent your girl from having any trusted friend because there can be a betrayal at any moment unless the friend has wings of an angel. Psychological fact number 10. Women accept dates just for food. According to statistics conducted in the United States, surprisingly, 38% of women accept dates just to get free food, highlighting the complexity of recognizing the motivation behind a woman saying yes to a date. So I recommend that before asking a girl out, make sure she's really interested in you. Ask me in the comments if you want to know how to tell if a girl is interested in you. Remember, at the end of the video, I'll tell you which fragrance you should use to stimulate her senses. Psychological fact number 11. When they are upset, they prefer you to approach them. If a woman is upset with you, she will feel better if you try to figure out why she is upset by paying attention and showing empathy. Understanding them can be difficult at times, but they were born with the ability to experience emotions. They are not as emotionally stable as us men. Both positive and negative emotions stimulate them. That's why they often fall for the guy who mistreats them. I'll explain it later. For the time being, get used to the emotional games that women enjoy playing. Regarding psychological fact number 1 about which scent stimulates women, here are some of the aromatic essences that most stimulate women: jasmine and lavender. In 2017, a study was conducted with 2 groups of men and 1 group of women. Each of these women spent time with 2 men individually. One of them wore a perfume lacking these 2 fragrances, while the other wore a perfume made with a jasmine-based aroma. It was found that jasmine-based fragrances efficiently stimulate women and make them feel more attracted to the man wearing them. You can find several perfumes with these fragrances on the market, such as the famous French Orpheon or the Pays Basque Eclectic. Thank you for watching the video until the end. Please like this video, subscribe, and leave your comment. Until next time.
9 ways to identify fake people. Behind every smile there's a story, but can you tell if it's genuine or just a mask? 1. Inconsistent stories. Beware of those whose tales wander and contradict. The stories of fake people often lack consistency, revealing a facade they struggle to maintain. These individuals are like chameleons, constantly altering their stories to fit the situation or audience. Their narratives often change dramatically over time, as they forget the details of their own fabrications or find new stories that serve their purpose better. This inconsistency isn't just a harmless trait, it's a deliberate tactic used to manipulate or impress others. Inconsistent stories are a hallmark of a lack of authenticity. Real people with genuine experiences have no need to constantly change their stories. Their life narratives are consistent, and while they might forget minor details, the core of their stories remains the same over time. Fake people, on the other hand, often find themselves trapped in a web of their own deceptions. As they struggle to keep track of their various tales, discrepancies become more apparent. This behavior can be particularly damaging in personal relationships and professional settings. In personal relationships, inconsistent stories can lead to a breakdown in trust. After all, if you can't trust someone to tell you the truth about their past, how can you trust them with your future? In professional environments, these inconsistencies can lead to a toxic workplace atmosphere where colleagues can't rely on each other and superiors can't make informed decisions, Identifying such individuals requires attentiveness and a good memory for details. By paying close attention to what someone says over time, patterns of inconsistency can emerge. This vigilance is not about being paranoid, but about protecting oneself from potential manipulation or deceit. When faced with inconsistent stories, it's important to question the narrative and seek clarity. Often, simply asking for more details or clarification can unravel a fake story, as the person may struggle to maintain the facade under scrutiny. 2. Superficial connections. Scratch the surface and you'll find shallow roots. Fake individuals prefer breadth over depth in their relationships, rarely forming meaningful bonds. These people often have a long list of acquaintances but very few, if any, true friends. Their connections are based on what others can offer them, rather than mutual respect or genuine affection. Superficial connections are a strategy, a way to navigate social landscapes without ever truly committing to anyone. These shallow relationships are characterized by a lack of depth and understanding. Fake people don't invest the time and emotional energy needed to build real connections. They might know many people, but their knowledge of these individuals is often limited to surface-level details, names, job titles, and other basic information. There's no sharing of personal struggles, no deep conversations about hopes and dreams, and no genuine emotional support. This approach to relationships is inherently self-serving. Fake individuals engage with others based on what they can gain, be it social status, professional advantages, or other benefits. They're often seen flitting from group to group, always seeking the most advantageous association. In doing so, they miss out on the true value of deep, meaningful relationships, the kind that provide support in tough times, joy in good times, and growth throughout life. The impact of such superficial connections can be profound. For those who form connections with these fake individuals, it can lead to feelings of being used or unappreciated. For the fake individuals themselves, it can result in a lonely existence, devoid of true companionship and support. They may find themselves surrounded by people, but lacking any real connection to any of them. To identify such superficiality, look for patterns in how individuals discuss their relationships. Do they only talk about what others can do for them? Do they switch social circles frequently? This behavior is often employed in both personal and professional contexts. In personal relationships, excessive flattery can be used to create a false sense of trust or to mask true intentions. In professional settings, it might be a tactic to curry favor or to distract from a lack of competence or commitment. The danger of this behavior lies in its ability to mislead and manipulate, creating an environment where genuine talent and effort are overshadowed by empty words. Moreover, those who frequently use excessive flattery often struggle with authenticity in other aspects of their lives. They may have a skewed perception of relationships, viewing them as transactions rather than mutual connections. This transactional approach can lead to a superficial social circle, where people are valued for what they can provide rather than who they are. To navigate through such deceit, it's essential to learn to differentiate between genuine praise and flattery. Genuine compliments are usually specific, related to real achievements or qualities, and given without expectation of something in return. In contrast, flattery often feels vague, exaggerated, or unrelated to actual accomplishments. Being aware of these differences can help in identifying individuals who use excessive flattery as a deceptive tactic. 4. Lack of empathy. A hollow heart can't empathize. Those who are insincere often show a notable absence of genuine concern and empathy for others. This lack of empathy is a significant red flag, indicating a person who is unable or unwilling to connect with others on an emotional level. Such individuals often disregard the feelings and needs of others, focusing solely on their own desires and objectives. The absence of empathy in a person's behavior can manifest in various ways. It may be evident in their indifference to others' difficulties or in their inability to celebrate others' successes genuinely. They might disregard the emotional well-being of those around them or fail to offer support when it's needed. In more extreme cases, a lack of empathy can lead to manipulative or harmful behaviors, as the individual does not fully consider or care about the impact of their actions on others. This characteristic is particularly damaging in relationships, whether personal or professional. In personal relationships, a lack of empathy can prevent the development of a deep, meaningful connection. It can lead to a one-sided relationship, where one person's needs and feelings are consistently ignored or undervalued. In professional settings, it can create a hostile and uncollaborative environment, as colleagues and employees may feel undervalued and misunderstood. Identifying a lack of empathy involves observing how individuals respond to situations that require emotional understanding. Do they show genuine concern when others are upset or in distress? Are they able to celebrate others' successes without making it about themselves? Do they show understanding and patience during difficult times? Answering these questions can provide insight into whether a person lacks empathy, which is a crucial component of genuine and healthy relationships. 5. Manipulative behavior strings are for puppets, not people. Fake individuals often manipulate others for personal gain, disregarding the feelings of those around them. This manipulative behavior is a deliberate strategy to control or influence others to achieve one's own goals. It can take many forms, from subtle emotional manipulation to overt exploitation. Such behavior is inherently selfish and shows a blatant disregard for the well-being and autonomy of others. Manipulators often possess a keen understanding of human psychology and use this knowledge to their advantage. They might use guilt, charm, coercion, or deceit to get what they want. This manipulation can be particularly damaging, as it often goes unnoticed until significant harm has been done. The victims of manipulation might find themselves in situations where they feel confused, guilty, or even responsible for the manipulator's actions. In personal relationships, manipulative behavior can lead to a toxic dynamic, where one person constantly feels under pressure to meet the other's demands or expectations. This can lead to a loss of self-esteem, anxiety, and emotional distress. In professional settings, recognizing and addressing manipulative behavior is crucial for maintaining healthy, respectful, and authentic relationships. By being aware of these tactics and taking steps to protect oneself, it's possible to build connections based on mutual respect and genuine understanding, rather than manipulation and deceit. 6. Frequent disappearance. When the going gets tough, the fake get going. Notice those who only appear in good times but vanish during challenges. This pattern of frequent disappearance is a telltale sign of a fair-weather friend or colleague, someone who is there for the ride but not for the journey. These individuals are quick to bask in shared successes or joyous occasions, but conspicuously absent during moments of difficulty or need. The harm of this behavior lies not just in the absence itself, but in the false sense of reliability it creates. People who frequently disappear betray the trust placed in them, leaving friends, family, or colleagues feeling abandoned and unsupported. In personal relationships, this can lead to feelings of loneliness and betrayal, as the individual realizes that their connection was contingent on positive circumstances. Professionally, it can disrupt team dynamics and hinder progress, as these individuals fail to contribute in times of stress or challenge. Identifying such individuals requires a keen observation of patterns over time. It's important to notice not just who is present in moments of success or celebration, but also who remains when situations become challenging. Loyalty and reliability are proven in adversity, not in ease. 7. Broken promises. A castle built on promises is built on air. Fake people make commitments easily but seldom follow through. This tendency to break promises is a critical indicator of a lack of integrity and reliability. Making a promise is, in essence, giving one's word. Breaking it is a sign of disrespect towards the recipient and oneself. It erodes trust and damages relationships, whether personal or professional. The impact of broken promises goes beyond the immediate disappointment or inconvenience. Repeatedly breaking promises can lead to a loss of credibility and respect. In personal relationships, it can cause emotional harm, creating an environment of uncertainty and insecurity. In professional settings, it undermines one's reputation and can jeopardize career opportunities and relationships with colleagues and superiors. To deal with individuals prone to breaking promises, it is crucial to set clear expectations and boundaries. Holding them accountable for their commitments can sometimes prompt a change in behavior. However, It's also important to protect oneself from the potential negative impacts of their unreliability by not relying solely on their promises. 8. Excessive self-promotion. In their world, the spotlight never dims. Self-centered and constantly seeking attention, fake individuals often exaggerate their achievements. This excessive self-promotion is not just about having confidence or a strong sense of self. It's about a deep-seated need for validation and admiration. Such individuals often have an inflated sense of their own importance and believe they deserve constant recognition and praise. This behavior can be disruptive in both personal and professional environments. In personal relationships, it can lead to a lack of balance, where one person's needs and achievements overshadow everyone else's. Professionally, it can create a toxic environment where collaboration and teamwork are undermined by one person's need to stand out at all costs. Recognizing excessive self-promotion involves paying attention to how individuals talk about themselves and their achievements. Do they consistently dominate conversations with tales of their accomplishments? Do they exaggerate or fabricate details to appear more successful or important? Such patterns can indicate a tendency towards self-promotion that borders on inauthenticity. 9. Unreliable instincts. Trust your gut. Often, our instincts can sense inauthenticity before our mind can rationalize it. This intuitive feeling, sometimes referred to as a gut feeling, is an important tool in identifying fake people. Our subconscious can pick up on subtle cues and inconsistencies that our conscious mind might miss or rationalize away. However, it's important to remember that instincts are not infallible. They can be influenced by our biases and past experiences. Therefore, while it's crucial to listen to your instincts, it's also important to balance them with rational thought and observation. If your gut is telling you that someone is insincere, take a step back and observe their behavior more objectively. Look for patterns and evidence that either confirm or contradict your intuition. Unreliable instincts can lead us astray, particularly in complex social situations where our biases and preconceptions play a significant role. Cultivating self-awareness and being mindful of these biases can help refine our instincts, making them a more reliable guide in assessing the authenticity of those around us. In conclusion, while instincts are a valuable tool in identifying fake people, they should be used in conjunction with rational analysis and observation. By doing so, we can develop a more accurate and nuanced understanding of the people we interact with, allowing us to form more authentic and meaningful relationships. As we navigate through the complexities of human relationships, understanding the signs of inauthenticity is crucial. Remember, the journey towards genuine connections is paved with awareness and wisdom. We've explored the subtle yet significant traits that reveal the true nature of those around us. From the inconsistencies in their stories to the unreliability of their commitments, each sign is a guidepost on this journey. But the quest doesn't end here. Our channel is dedicated to empowering you with insights and knowledge to enhance your understanding of human behavior and relationships. By subscribing, you join a community committed to personal growth and authentic living. Don't let the journey stop with this video. Hit the like button if you found these insights valuable, and subscribe to stay updated with more content that enlightens and inspires. Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Your story could be the beacon that guides someone else to clarity. Together, let's build a world where authenticity reigns and genuine connections thrive. Remember, your intuition is your compass, and your willingness to learn is the key to navigating the seas of relationships. Like, subscribe, and embark on this continuous journey of discovery with us. Every click, every share, every subscription helps us reach more people, spreading knowledge that has the power to transform lives. Thank you for watching, and remember, in a world full of facades, your authenticity is your greatest strength. Embrace it, nurture it, and watch your relationships flourish in the light of truth.
The more you reveal your pain, the more people may want to hurt you. Although it does not always occur, it is common for some people to take pleasure in your suffering or even contribute to it occurring or worsening. Unfortunately, sadism and envy are common behaviors that can stifle personal growth in a variety of settings, including work, a circle of friends, and even family. As a result, Learning not to show your weak point can become your strong point. Consider yourself a tree in the middle of a storm. The leaves may flutter and the branches may sway, but the trunk remains firm and firmly planted in the ground. This is the image of silent resilience that we will teach here. We will discuss how you can become even stronger by demonstrating that you are not easily influenced by external internal issues, and how each challenge teaches you to be like the tree. You are not denying the storm by acting as if nothing bothers you. Rather, you're choosing not to let the rain soak you and the wind knock you down. You will learn to be the master of your own fate, firm, strong, and calm in the midst of chaos. In this video, we'll go over 17 Stoic rules from Epicus, a great and well-known philosopher you've probably heard of. Furthermore, I invite you to self-knowledge, where strength comes from the silence of the light that illuminates the path rather than the noise of thunder. As a result, in the coming minutes, concentrate on the content rather than on daily distractions. The first rule is, be prepared to fail, because it is the only way to progress. We do the impossible to avoid being labeled as idiots. Epicus, on the other hand, has a different point of view. According to his philosophy, being considered such is one of the best things that can happen to you because it allows you to grow professionally and personally. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming is the result of a long path of trial and error, rather than a spontaneous reaction. For it is only through trial and error that we can refine what separates us from excellence. The second rule is, always remember that death is waiting at the end of the road. This is not advice that calls us to pessimism, but to be aware that death is the final destination of all our actions, and especially our efforts. Once we have this in mind, perhaps we will start to evaluate to what extent it is worth spending 20 years of our limited life saving to pay for a house that, as much as it weighs on us, we will not be able to take with us wherever we go once death visits us. Just as we carry in our bag those objects that we consider indispensable for our daily life, such as the phone, credit cards, and our toothbrush, it would greatly benefit us to carry a small notebook with these Stoic principles, because thanks to them, we will no longer see setbacks as misfortunes, nor life as internal time we have at our disposal, but we will acquire a more realistic view of our existence and certainly make better use of our time of life. The third rule is, listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever considered why nature provided us with 2 ears but only 1 mouth? There is no error or coincidence in this according to Epicus, but rather a clear purpose behind this reality. We are not called to fall in love with our own voice, but rather with the voices of others. We advance in life by learning from others, not by repeating our own speech over and over. So starting today, start paying more attention to what people around you say and less attention to what you've been upholding up to this point. The fourth rule is, always prepare for the worst. Believing that unfavorable circumstances await us in the future is one of the leading causes of anxiety and its devastating consequences. We are afraid that our children will drop out of school, that we will be fired, that our spouse will confess to us that they have been having an affair with someone else and will ask for a divorce, or that something else bad will happen to us, such as going bankrupt. The problem is that we fear one of these issues one day and another the next, and so on. Life's path, in addition to reserving good and happy parts for us, also reserves a handful of unavoidable problems. Therefore, we live in permanent stress caused by different stimulation each day. And this is where Epicus comes into the picture. Since his proposal is as drastic as it is effective, he says, think that all these things you fear so much have already happened. So what could be worse? In this way, your spirit will develop coping strategies to move forward with your head held high. The fifth rule is, be aware of the threats of fortune. This wealth that we seek carries a stigma from which few people can escape. And it's not just about the people who will appear out of nowhere to take advantage of our good fortune. such as by pretending to have feelings for us. Money has the power to change people, and not always for the better. Once we have this highly sought-after resource, we have something we did not know we had, and it is from that point that our spirit may begin to poison itself in the face of the loss of moral values. The sixth rule is, guilt is synonymous with plague. Narrow-minded people blame others, ordinary people blame themselves. But the wise see all guilt as foolishness. Thanks to this phrase from Epicus, therapists nowadays have begun to approach guilt as a feeling to be eradicated from our lives. The only way to win the competition against guilt is to refuse to play with it. The problem is that it results in an easy path, since by blaming others or ourselves, we completely absolve ourselves of the responsibility to correct the mistake. Therefore, resorting to it is a temptation that is hard to escape. Only those people driven by a firm determination to overcome are capable of avoiding guilt and still manage to take responsibility for their actions. The seventh rule is, true wealth is found in a contented spirit. Epictetus had his own definition of happiness because of Stoicism, and we can see it in one of his famous quotes. A wise man is one who does not fret over what he lacks, but rejoices in what he has. This reflection is more than a thought. It is advice to learn to stop feeling afflicted by those riches that are not yet a part of our lives, because when we allow ourselves to complain and mourn for what we lack, we lose valuable minutes of happiness in which we could be thankful for everything we have accomplished thus far, which is far more than our eyes are trained to appreciate. The eighth rule is, incorporate humility into your life. If you really want to learn something, it is essential that a person learns what they believe they already know. Through this phrase, Epicus calls us to make use of our humility, especially in the realm of learning. Going through life, boasting of the pride of knowledge, distances us more and more from the authentic knowledge that arises from the conviction that we are completely ignorant about what we intend to learn. In this way, we will look at everything through the eyes of a child, which harbor as much capacity for wonder as they do a desire to learn. Rule number 9 is, never forget that your reactions shape your destiny. We should not take our reactions lightly, as they will undoubtedly determine our success or failure. And Epicus was unequivocal about it. He taught us that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. Misfortune can strike any of us, but it is what we do when it does that will determine our fate from that point forward. Divorce can mean entering a world of depression and victimization for some people. Epicus, on the other hand, sees it as a golden opportunity to begin the path of self-knowledge. Remember that what happens to you is not as important as what you do with it. Rule number 10 is, make alliances with winning people. It's curious how when someone sneezes next to us, we immediately move away, invaded by the fear that they will infect us. However, we are not so cautious to avoid one of the most lethal contagions we are exposed to daily. Epicus left us a wise piece of advice about this. Surround ourselves with people who make us want to give our best, because people's behavior greatly influences our state of mind. There are people who drain our energy and ruin our day, while others leave us full of joy and vigor. Therefore, one of the smartest decisions we can make is to ally ourselves with those who bring good vibes into our lives, while we say goodbye to those who have the ability to make us regret being born. Rule number 11 is, invest in simplicity. Why live frugally when we can surround ourselves with all manner of luxuries nowadays? The answer is much simpler and more logical than you think. Wealth does not sustain itself. It requires commitment and a great deal of daily energy to sustain this system of luxuries and wealth. In contrast, when we choose a simple lifestyle, we remove the stress of having to meet the due dates of bills, loans, and credit cards. Rule number 12 is, always do your duty. Each of us plays an important role in society and the world. And the sun does not require praise or enchantments to rise each morning. But it happens every day, and that's the end of it. As a result, just as every part of nature does its job, we must fulfill our responsibilities. We fail both the environment to which we belong and ourselves if we wait for praise or praise to do our work. If we know what our task is and are aware that others rely on it, it is our moral obligation to complete it without waiting for someone to remind us. Rule number 13 is, stop worrying about things over which you have no control. Your opinion is yours, but not your reputation. You have the desire and zeal for the hunt, but you have no control over the amount of goods you have, or your success. Worrying and becoming irritated about things we cannot control is simply a decision to waste time. According to Epicus, we are called to cultivate those values over which we have control, but it is also our responsibility to let go of what is beyond our control and allow fate to take care of it. Rule number 14 is, do not hate those who hate you. Instead, ignore them. You are much bigger and far more powerful than the person who criticizes, despises, and discriminates against you. So don't waste your time hating that person, because they don't even deserve to be in your thoughts. We are encouraged not to be afraid of people who would harm us, because the noise represents a regrettable attempt to harm us. So ignore it and develop immunity to it. Rule number 15 is, always extract the benefit from things. Whatever happens, it is up to you to take advantage of it or not. These were the words of Epicus. As you can see, it is not about having the option to take the good out of adversity, but that doing so is our duty. As long as there is intelligence in you, there will be the ability to realize the advantages you can take from the situation that has struck you. Imagine that one day you arrive at work to find out you will be fired. Instead of despairing and accusing the universe of being against you, you have the option of venturing into that enterprise you dreamt of, while fulfilling your work schedule alongside people you disliked. Therefore, always try to look for the positive in a situation, as this movement added up throughout your life will certainly take you further than just lamenting. Rule number 16 is, when you allow the comments and attitudes of others to bother you, you are handing over control of your life. Any person capable of making you angry becomes your master. However, that person can only make you angry when you allow yourself to be disturbed by them. Epictetus makes us understand that there are many keys within us, and some lead us to happiness, while others lead us directly to emotional ruin. And it is precisely this last key that we hand over to those who make us angry. The solution to this problem is to put up a barrier that prevents us from being affected by the attitudes of others. Because definitely each one is the owner of what they say, and also of what they decide to listen to. Rule number 17 is, friendship is more important than wealth. Genuine friends are true wealth because they will be there to support us if our material fortune fades. As a result, if you devote yourself to cultivating genuine friendships, you will be making a very profitable long-term investment. In addition to being incredibly useful for everyday life, Stoic principles are teachings that can help us navigate bad times with interest and resilience. As there is no place in their philosophy for fantasizing, but only for applying what is learned and moving forward. I hope you liked the video, and since you've made it to the end, leave a like and a comment. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. See you soon.